52 degrees in Dirqar in southern Iraq. Despite the heat, the inhabitants of this village stay outside while they can. It doesn't last for long. In just a few minutes, the air becomes impossible to breathe. Here, sandstorms are particularly violent in the summer.
Do you see all this sand? It comes from here, from there. Look at these storms. What can we do?
Abbas studied within these walls. When the wind picks up, nothing can stop the desert sand.
This is how we live. Look at our school, buried, dust everywhere. These are the sandstorms. We are barely surviving. If we didn't have work or something, we wouldn't live. There is no water. The earth buries us. No one can live in this place if they aren't used to it. We've been here since the days of my great-grandfather. I tell myself, continue this way, wait a little, and then leave. We can't live here.
He wants to leave the village like many others before him. Hussein and his family have been living here for generations and have witnessed the village lose its inhabitants.
This house was inhabited, but because of the sand dunes, they left. We are tired of the dust. We have allergies and a lot of illnesses. The state hasn't assisted us. We're asking the state to solidify the sand dunes, to bring us water.
There are only about 100 people left in this deserted village, 30 kilometers from the nearest town. Increasing temperatures, decades of neglect and destruction of the soil during wars have turned the land into sand. Professor Rahim Hamid studies the consequences of desertification for the inhabitants.
How many families used to live there?
Before?
In the 70s and 80s.
1,000, more than 1,000.
In 60 years, the number of sandstorms has tripled in Iraq, and in some regions in the south, it even increased tenfold.
The recurrence and intensity of dust storms have increased, and its impact is larger than before. Its impact on the population, agriculture, animals, and transport routes is heavy. There are no obstacles that can stop the wind, such as plants.
He's part of a committee of experts advising the government on projects like this. These banks are erected as barriers against moving sand. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, nearly a quarter of Iraq's territory is already suffering from desertification, and more than half of the country could be affected in the years to come.
This is a very intense movement, especially in the summer season when the wind blows. The area becomes stormy and yellow. There are areas with 2-meter-high sand dunes. We are forced to transport mud soil with machines to cover them. We have created about 30 mounds in an area of 600 hectares. With the mud coverage, the area changed. It calmed down. After the dunes are covered, we plant thorns of the Levant, which can resist high temperatures.
These plants are cultivated in nurseries belonging to the Ministry of Agriculture.
This plant is adapted to resist temperatures through its small leaves and the thorns on it. It loses these leaves in extreme heat waves so that the plant maintains humidity. As you know, Iraq has been suffering from water scarcity for years.
It takes 3 to 6 years for these trees to be effective against desertification, but projects are often delayed.
This added problem, a lack of funds, has greatly affected our work in combating desertification. We hope that the responsible authorities will increase financial support.
Last year, Iraq's Prime Minister announced a plan to plant 5 million trees across the country. So far, they have mostly been planted in urban areas.
Certainly until now, our efforts to face desertification are insufficient. But we have a clear vision and consider confronting desertification and facing dust storms a real challenge.
The situation is critical. By 2030, temperatures are expected to rise and water resources decrease. turning land into sand and forcing even more Iraqis to leave their homes.